the location where you can find the ICE tasks for people who are not sure. Under activities, quizzes and discussions, you click on the discussion section, and there you will see the ICE tasks. Very clearly marked ICE task 1, 23 people have completed that. ICE task 2, 22 completed that. And ICE task 3, the most recent one that I've loaded, has been completed by, it looks like, about 10 people. So guys, that's where, just to reiterate, that's where 10% of your module mark lies. That 10% is within easy reach. Everyone can without too much effort claim that 10% mark. And I always say, what if the 10% pushes you from a 59 to a 60 final mark, or a 65 to a 70, or whatever the case may be? Welcome, Danielle. I see students are joining. Guys, can we start just with a bit of housekeeping? I know that this was done in Tsego's session as well. PAS, this is PAS. We are sitting on part 2, 25 September. So you've got the public holiday. That's literally tomorrow, a week's time. Please take note that we do not have class on the 24th of September. There's no class scheduled for that date because it's a public holiday, which means that our next session looks like October the 1st. I'm not here. So for that one session, we will make an alternative. I'll put some recording up, some work for you guys to do. The 8th of October, I'm not sure if I'm back then. I must check. But fact of the matter is, there's no scheduled / timetabled session for next week, 24 September, public holiday. There is a link because we did create the links consequentially. So don't let the link fool you and you sit there and wait, but nothing happens because there's not a scheduled class because of that. And that you can obviously see on your timetable, where if I take my glasses off, it looks like Heritage Day or something like that. That is session 9 this evening, guys, which leaves us with 5 sessions, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, ending on October the 29th. We're sitting in part 3 on the 20th of October. We're sitting with the research project on November the 17th, and then you will see a very interesting entry on PAS that says resubmission for the research project for December the 12th. My advice would be, folks, don't bank on that. Good evening, Tangi. Don't bank on that. You will need very serious motivation and reason and convincing to use the second submission opportunity. So that's not on PAS to make you think, oh, well, I'll take the second submission opportunity. No, that's not why it's there. I think it's literally there to catch the student that for some really unforeseen reason, who is deserving of a second chance to submit, might get offered that. And it's on the PAS simply because from an administrative point of view, it has to be timetabled or dated and put on PAS. We're working on our date there, the one we see, which is November the 17th. I welcome people coming in. No, just quickly, Merika, Leonie, Chelby, Naomi, Danielle, Tangi. I'm going to say Asanda. Your first name is beautiful. It's difficult to pronounce. Anele. And Zandile. Zandile, I like your profile pic. All right. Students, then I want to ask you, please be honest, give me a bit of feedback. Things started off a bit funny and there were some problems. Where are you guys now? Are you in a good place? I listened to the session that Sejo had with you guys. When was that? Was it Monday night? And really uh, came to the table with an apology, came to the table with offering you guys assistance, which I absolutely commend. I think Checho is a fantastic person. Working with us is also something I enjoy. Uh, she did mention, and I think that's the thing that I think that penny has really dropped with you guys. That you really need to grow up, and guys, that's the way it is. If I talk about my own journey, not want to bore you, I had to grow up with my MBA. Hey, sure, I had to grow up even more with my PhD. It was just something that at some point I had to almost make that, and I'm not sure it was gradual or at a point in time. Listen, this is my baby. And no one, including my supervisor, really cares about this baby. You know that, guys? I'm not even talking about the world out there. In fact, do you think people want you to succeed? Other people walking around competing for job opportunities, competing for working opportunities. Do you think your success is something that people celebrate? No. Your family and your loved ones, yes. Your supervisor is glad. Your supervisor, I always say tongue in cheek, your pod leader will read your work because they pay them to do it. That's not true, but you know what I'm saying. But no one really cares about your success. And here's the thing, as Checho explained it so beautifully, that you really need to take this thing, put it in your own lap and say, well, this is me. Me and this thing is in the same boat. Guys, again, you are doing the same that the honors NQFA people are doing, but you're doing it in half the time. It is, in a sense, absurd. It is doable by evidence of the mere fact that many people have done it, which means you can follow in those footsteps. I think it was Leonie. Leonie, correct me if I'm wrong, that asked me a couple of things in WhatsApp. I said I would gladly respond. I think Checho um, dealt with some of those. Leonie says yes. So what I brought along this evening, guys, is 5 reports from previous years. The very first thing I have to say is this is published. The reports are published, so it's IIEIP. It does not belong to the students, so we do not need the students' permission. Please take note of that. It's an observation that I need to make. This is in the public space because they were final published research reports. So no student is being in any way yeah, there's no contravention of privacy policies. Um, and while I'm on that topic, if your final research report, I do believe we might have a mark cut off, say we say 60 plus or 65 plus, or whatever the decision is, final mark on your report, we will publish your report in the IIE library, which means it is there for, wait for it, the whole wide world to see. The globe, the whole academic worldwide fraternity has access to your report that you've done here at the IIE's Varsity College. You're no longer studying at the IIE. There's a new name. Some of you know that name, I presume. Okay. Or a new brand under the IIE. Let's look at this and get a feel for what we are working toward. You know, when you see this is the chocolate cake I'm baking. This is This is the beef stroganoff I am making. Sorry for the vegetarians. You've got some sort of an idea of what the final product should look like. I'm going to go through these with commentary. I'm going to keep an eye on chat. I'm going to keep an eye on raising hands. If there's questions, let's do it. But let's use this to go through something. And Leonie, I think it was specifically research aim that you said, how do we tackle that? And just back to my previous point, I think that point's been made and it's been sufficiently put out there. I'm not going to hammer it until it gets raw. I'm just saying, guys, this course is not for people that cannot, under their own strength and own weight, do that self-study, do that research, carry on and so on. So it's about responsibility. I'm still sharing my screen. I do believe so. If I'm not, please shout. This is something, and I hope my Zoom is sufficient for you guys to see. I didn't supervise these students. They were published in the past. I think most of them are under the supervision of my colleague, Dr. Henny. But let's see how these students put together their final research report. Let's pick up and let's make some comments and let's get a bit of a feel for what the final product could look like. I don't have marks for these, so I cannot tell you what the examiner awarded. I'm not going to shoot from the hip and tell you this is the mark I would award. Something Checho reiterated also is your rubric. Guys, and I want to tell you something, and excuse me for being so blunt in that respect. You guys tend to ask us sometimes questions that you know the answer. If you ask me what's the date for submission, but you have a pass, do you need me to tell you that date? If you ask me stuff that you really know because the info is with you, please go and do that homework before you ask us questions about stuff. Almost to say, well, I'm just going to shortcut and ask someone, whoever is around, to tell me the answer. Please don't do that. I think there's an admission. All right. I am admitting, and if you guys can admit, you also do that. All right. Motivational strategies, the role of expectancy theory and job satisfaction in manufacturing. I'm going to talk and continue. I'll scroll slowly. I don't want to zoom in too big because it's going to make you fall off your chair. I don't want to zoom out too much so that you can't read. I hope this works. So, 2023 submission. First thing that I would point out, this is not, I don't like to see that word there, contents. I like to see table of contents. The first thing. The second thing is I want to see numbers on the left-hand side. These are main sections, so maybe introduction is section 1. So that would be 1.1, 1.2, and so on. Guys, don't go beyond 3, yes, 3 levels of numbering. I don't want to see 1.2, 0.3, 0.4. That becomes a bit messy. 3 levels of numbering max. If you need to list stuff below that, use bullets, use something else. But yeah, so numbers here. And then, of course, you could play with fonts. So you could perhaps put your main sections in a bold font and bring down your subheadings in a same size, but maybe in a font that's not bold. Don't play around and don't jump around too much with font sizes. What I'm saying is, don't give me a size 24 font in a heading, and then you jump down to a 12 or a 14, and then you do this. Don't do that. I want the look to be fairly uniform. I want it to look, I always say jokingly, well, not jokingly, serious but tongue-in-cheek. An academic submission must look boring. It mustn't look eye-catching. It's not a book that we're putting in exclusive that we want to have on the top 20 books on exclusive, and it must be eye-catching with a title and a cover. Academic work looks boring, cold, clinical, black and white, no color. You get my vibe. Okay. So I say there's room for improvement here. Under literature review, I am encouraging you not to use theme, because this is confusing qualitative students that are doing thematic analysis, because they are discovering and identifying themes. Use elements, use headings there, but get away from it. I've been trying to get the institution to erase that from their documentation. I don't want you to use themes there. Those are elements, they are handles, they are factors, they are the structure you use in your literature review. But when you use themes there, it does confuse students, because the thematic analysis distinctly looks for the identification of themes. So, conceptualization is clarification of concepts that need clarification for this study. When I encounter the term disruptive innovation in your study, you want me to interpret that term as this, with a definition from a scholarly source. Don't put stuff in your concepts that we really understand. All of us know what it means. Don't do that. That's going to look ridiculous. That's going to compromise credibility. Put stuff in there that requires clarification, and stuff that could possibly, if I ask 10 people on the street, what is disruptive innovation, I might get some people that give me some different ideas. So concepts that could be interpreted ambiguously. And you want to set it straight. When you read this, a reader, when you jump into my report, I want you to attach this meaning to this word. And you have to use a scholarly reference, folks. Methodology is there. Guys, headings and subheadings is extremely important to me. By the way, body and that sort of thing is not a heading. Really, that's not a heading. Don't go and duplicate questions in headings. Don't do that. Use as much and as many sensible, important headings and subheadings as you can. Even if that means that your table of contents, your TOC, will span over pages, that is fine. In a big dissertation or a thesis, it's not uncommon to see a table of contents spanning over 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 pages. Just TOC. Carries on and on and on and on and on. Headings, subheadings, detail. And of course, the other biggie about TOC is your page numbers must correspond. We're doing spot checks to see if they correspond with the page numbers you put in there. Presentation of findings, expectancy theory findings, summary of that. Then there's charts, summary. So I don't know under what main sections all of this belongs. So I would really use a better categorization of the TOC. And then you'll see the word bibliography there. I don't want to see that, guys. Reference list. That's all. Reference list. Get me? Reference list. Nothing else. If you don't know what the difference between a bibliography and a reference list is, please go and do the research. Annexures. If you use the word appendix, which I don't think any of you will do, the plural of appendix is appendices, not appendixes. Annexure A, B, C, D, and E. Now you can ask me, but we've got funny names. We've got H and we've got O. Do we need to keep those numbers? You can't, you can, but you don't have to. In other words, I'm telling you, you can change the alphabetic label of the annexure, but you keep the name the same. So if a gatekeeper is annexure O, you can make it annexure B to keep your annexures sequential. Does that make sense? Of course it does. If you keep them with the label that we sent them to you, that's my own hand. That doesn't make sense. And you keep them as HO and whatever, that is fine. But I think it's neat if you adjust the numbers, and of course the title that carries the meaning you will keep the same. Abstract. What's the first problem I see on the very first page of the submission? The text is not justified. In other words, the text is left justified in this case. I want to see a block of text with straight lines down the side, which means it's center justified. Page numbers are inserted. You will be surprised how many submissions I get where there's no page numbers. Please remember to insert your page and number, folks. Very important. Something is making a noise on my machine. Let me just turn that off. All right, let's continue. Research title. You will write a title in title case. Important, guys. That means you will capitalize every word in the title except those small words like of and the, in, and so on. So title case. There's a problem here because the styling of this heading is not the same as in the TOC. If this heading in the text is a 14 bold underlined style, it should be the same. My computer is slow. In the TOC, they should be exactly the same. If this is a 12 bold underlined, I need to see a 12 bold underlined in the text. Yes, but I'm using software that links my TOC and it buggers up my styling. Figure it out. There's a box you can tick. I think it's copy styling or something. Important. It must be the same. Introduction. Now, percent, guys, if you're still using the sign percent, please stop doing that. You use two words, per space cent. That's how you write percent in academic work. You don't use the sign. You write per space cent. Percent. Right. Style of referencing, of course, is going to be there. Research topic. I'm going to go through this fairly quick and let's see if we can get through more. The manufacturing sector, Leonie, is demonstrating the significance of manufacturing, the assets of organizations. Employees' happiness is dependent. There I see a Z, so the Z immediately tells me the student is in USA spelling and grammar. You guys are studying with a South African university, so South African grammar and spelling. There we're still using ampersand. We changed to Harvard Anglia this year. We use and in the bracket. Let's get to the aim of the study. The student wrote about a page here. I like the inclusion of references. I like the fact that the student spends enough time explaining the aim and the rationale, using references to support the arguments, and then there's a summary. The aim of the study is to investigate the role of the expectancy theory and job satisfaction in the manufacturing industry. The independent variable is identified as expectancy theory and the dependent variable as job sat. Yes, Leonie, that's a hand.
Yes, sorry, Dr. Rowan. The reason I asked about the aim is because in the beginning we were told that our research is not going to change the world and it's not going to make any difference. So
It's not.
that's what's confusing me. If it's not going to make any difference, how do I have an aim? It kind of
No, let me help you
feels a
figure it
bit
out,
pointless.
but I've got the right answer for you. So
Pardon?
at this level,
Mhm.
you guys are not gonna are not going to solve real problems, but you are going to give us insight and understanding, and that's enough.
Okay.
So where you sometimes start off and you say you want to come up with a new model, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, we say keep that for your master's, keep it for your PhD. Guys, I want to tell you the sobering truth. When you, yes, only in the final, the abstract is only in the final report, Medica. Good question. Only if you want to influence policy, you have to do a PhD or 2 PhDs and have a blog and write a book and do a roadshow and be all on the socials. That's the only way you're going to influence policy. So I don't like it when students say, I'm going to do a report that's going to influence the banking industry or the mining industry, because in reality, it's not. Not because there's anything wrong with you, because that's the way it works. You will not influence policy with your study. These are the things that you can do. Listen very carefully. You can shed light onto the topic. Here's my little torch. I'm not going to shine it in your eyes, but you can shed light on a topic. Here's my torch. I'm shedding light on something, which means I get a clearer view of what's going on here. You can gain in-depth understanding about the topic. You can raise awareness. You can inform decision makers. Can you hear the type of things I'm saying, Leonie, versus saying that you are going to your study is going to change how things are done, because that's not going to happen. So there's a credibility issue for me here as well. If you tell me that the aim of your study is to gain in-depth insight and to really get in-depth understanding from your stakeholder perspective, that's enough and that's credible. When you do your master's, then you come up with a new model. When you do your PhD and so on, then you start saying, well, now I want to become a voice in this discipline. That's exactly the only thing. So don't be too ambitious in your intended or your anticipated contribution and tell me stuff that we all know, guys. It's really not gonna be like that. I did tell you this process is more process driven, or the research is more process driven than content driven. Your content is of secondary importance. Really, trust me. And I'm not shooting anyone down. I'm not saying that your report might not be picked up by someone uh, and make waves. It's always possible. But normally it doesn't happen like that. Normally your pod leader is going to read your report. Maybe your parents or your loved ones or your children's going to read your report. And maybe some interested people will read your report. And that's fine, and that's perfectly fine. Don't try and use this research to push something or some career. It doesn't make sense. If you're a qual person, you're speaking to 3 people, you really cannot base a lot of groundbreaking evidence on a study with 3 people or 10 people in the case of quant. Leonie, does it help you? Does it answer your question to some extent?
Yes, thank you. It does. I just didn't know how to answer that particular part of the assessments, but you've given us good guidelines. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So say, be bold in what you want to say. Just don't become irrational in what you say you intend on doing. Research problem. Now, this is a space where I really want to see about a page or so where you put your research in the current/contemporary research landscape, and you need to use proper sources here. Guys, there's not a research problem that has not been researched. So let's just get that straight as well. You are not going to identify a research gap where it is, wow, no one on the whole planet has ever done this research. The reason why your research is new, the reason why your research is novel, to a large extent, is because you are doing a research with your unique sample in your unique setting, and that has never been done. But don't tell me you're going to do a research project on KPAs and then tell me there's nothing. You found nothing in literature. There's a massive gap. No one's ever done any research on KPAs and if KPAs motivate people. Because the truth is there's hundreds and thousands of studies being done on KPAs every year. You know what I'm saying? So the research gap is not a gap because there's nothing on it. The research gap is a gap in the setting you find yourself in. There's that gap. I'm looking at guest house owners in Pretoria East and how they utilize green practices. And there's a gap there because in that little community of guest houses in Pretoria East where I stay, I don't see studies on green practices in that. So there's a gap there with these people that I'm interacting with. I hope that helps you. Research problem important. And again, go back to your rubric. All your clues are in your rubric. Research question. Guys, one research question is enough. It's enough. It's enough. It's enough. If you put 3 or 4 research questions there, we're going to hold you accountable to answer all of them scientifically and from the data, and to answer them in detail. So one research question is the way to go. Only one. If you want to convince me that you need sub questions, 1 or 2, you can. But if you frame your research question well, you can have a single RQ and put your whole research, frame your whole research in a single RQ. Hypothesis. You guys that are doing quant are not allowed to do hypotheses because it is not aligned with the NQF level of our study. It's beyond the scope. Descriptive analysis, descriptive statistics, quant is allowed, or maybe I will allow correlation. Theoretical framework, expectancy theory. All right, the student continues. Under theory, we want to know what's the theory, where did it originate, how is it used, why is it aligned with your study. There. So there's a lot about the expectancy theory. Literature review. Important thing for me about a literature review, guys, is that you give us a sensible, logical, coherent, flowing structure. Please give me a literature review that is structured in sections that makes sense. So sensible headings. I don't want to see a literature review that is just written in one long essay type thing that covers pages and pages and pages and pages without headings that navigates the reader as to what are you busy with. So what are the things, the headings, the labels, the handles will normally find your literature review? Yes, you will find your theoretical framework. What's the theory you're going to use? And again, one theory is enough. One is enough.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi,
Doc
guys. So it
said that
seems like
is.
Dr.
Sorry, carry on.
Sorry, it seems like the doc has some network issues.
Yeah, he said his computer is making a funny noise just now. Maybe it's done something strange.
Or running an update,
Doc
because you know
is
when
no
Windows
longer on
updates.
this,
Yeah,
Doc is no longer on this recording.
Yep. I think his computer might have run an update, because that usually happens when it updates.
Mm.
Unfortunate
So
timing.
let's see,
but
maybe
that
he can.
happens.
Let's see, maybe he can log in still. Let's hang tight.
I think I'm going to leave everybody. Have a good evening. A child fell over just before I went into this. He's not a child anymore. He's big, but still. I need to go see if he's all right. And so wish you all well.
Have a good evening,
Okay,
Leonie.
Leonie, you can always catch the recording.
Will do. Thanks. Cheers.
All right. Good night. Guys, are you there? Zaka,
Yes, we are still here.
Sandile, Danielle.
We're all patiently waiting.
Oh, okay. No, I was just reflecting on something, and I was thinking, isn't it interesting how the structure is so important in this mod rather than the contents itself? Haven't you picked that up as well? Hello?
Oh, there I am. Listen.
Welcome back.
No, I don't know what happened there. My internet literally dropped and came back up. I'm so sorry. It's one of those gremlins that we can't avoid encountering from time to time. All right, the recording is still running. I hope it comes up as a pause. Otherwise, 2 recordings. All right. So sorry, people. Completely inexplicable. All right. You can hear me. You can see me. You can see my share, right? Just give me a reaction thumbs up. Thank you. Thanks, Tangi. I think what I said last, thanks Ilse, was I don't want to see you guys giving me padding. Remember, the person reading your work is an academic. So please don't rewrite a textbook on methodology. I'm interested in you motivating your selections. I'm using this, and this. This is my plan. And I can motivate why I am using that. Population and sampling. Make sure that you define your population criteria. Make sure that you explain your two things about sampling. First of all, the type of sampling. Is it probability or non-probability? And secondly, the sampling method. There was someone that had homework last week. Do you remember who that was? I actually made a note of it. Someone with a C. I think the name starts with a C or a S or something. Sampling method. Can you see what I like about this is that you see the student using references to support those motivations. Guys, please do not overuse deploy still here. Why? Yes, everything is in deploy, so why can't we just use deploy? Because it looks funny. It looks as if you didn't take the trouble to consult other research methodology texts. So do not overuse a single source. Data collection method, generalize with a Z, again tells me I'm on USA. Data analysis. Inductive and deductive, guys. Qual is normally associated with inductive. Quant is associated with deductive. All of you are doing cross-sectional. None of you are doing longitudinal. All right. So it's a quant study. So now you expect to see graphs and all sorts of things. Remember, this was a study where hypothesis testing was done. So in a qual study, guys, I don't want to see numbers and graphs and tables. It's linguistic. It's language. In a quant study, the numbers does the talking. So you expect to see a lot of numeric, metric values in quant. In qual, it's all about linguistic constructs, standard deviation, and all of this. Let me continue and scroll down and see what the student gave us at the end. I want to get to this. The reference list, which should be reference list and not bibliography, please. And now again, this was the old stuff. We need to align to the Harvard Anglia 2025 IIE referencing guide in terms of all these little thingies, right? Are you guys having a referencing workshop right after this at 7? Please correct me if I'm right. Referencing workshop this evening? Anybody? I saw something like that, an invite. America. Referencing workshop at 7 o'clock. Michelle Coates. All right, can someone confirm? Yes. Guys, there is a referencing workshop right after this class at 7 o'clock. Michelle Coates, this was an initiative that came from campus. Right, let's look at another one just to get a feel for this one. Nice cover page. All the detail is right there. Abstract. This abstract font jumps out a bit big, if you heard what I'm saying, but look at the nicely aligned text. An abstract also contains keywords at the bottom. It's not contents, it's table of contents. Abstract is not in the table of contents because it is prior to the table of contents. So you can use Roman numericals to put the abstract in there, but the abstract, it follows after the TOC. So that's a bit funny. This student did use numbers, but can you see the error here? 1 is abstract, 3 is introduction. Where's 2? Guys, that is sloppiness. That's nothing else than sloppiness. Can you please tell me in the chat window who is attending the research, the referencing workshop, and who is not attending? Just say yes or no. Yes if you are attending. No if you are not attending. All right. So this TOC is clearly flawed, but all right, let's see what we can learn from it. I like the fact that there are numbers used. And can you see, here's an example of a TOC spanning over at least 2 pages, which is not a problem whatsoever. Introduction. Again, that font is massively big. Research topic and background. I don't see the styling aligning. As in TOC, it should be in text. So again, there is a formatting editing error. All right. Topic and background. Rationale. Why is this research necessary? What's the rationale for doing this? You go to the beach, you buy sunblock. I ask you, Merika, Danielle, Zandile, Tangi, what's the rationale for buying the sunblock? Oh, the rationale, it's easy. If I don't do it, there's going to be consequences. Can you tell me there's a rationale for doing your research? Guys, there's no sense in doing research whether the sun is hot or whether the sea is salt. Doesn't make sense. It's not a researchable topic. Is your research important to do? If we don't do your research, then we don't get that understanding. Then we don't shed that light. Then we are not one step closer to having better insight into this research phenomenon. So what's the reason? Why is your research important? What's the rationale for doing your research? Sometimes it overflows a bit, or it's a bit gray between rationale and aim, but they can be differentiated. Problem statement. What do I want to see? At least a page, lots of references telling me, putting me in the center of the contemporary research landscape. This is where my research slots in. Research slots, that's a tongue twister. Research aim. All right, again, here the student says, very cryptic, I think. But the student wants to determine if the level of trust influenced perceived level in the EE survey. All right, it looks like a quant again. Research question is only one. I like it. Hypotheses. Here the student used the plural for a single. So hypotheses, well, it's actually plural because there's an alternate and an also. Hypothesis with an I is one. Hypotheses with an E is plural. Guys, make sure. Analysis with a koliki E is single. Analyses is plural. All right, it's a quant study again. Literature review main section. What did I tell you want to see there? The theoretical framework. Part of that. So there's the PT model, the propensity to trust model. And the student will continue about that. Then there's the review of literature under nice headings. I like what I see. I see there's a lit review that's divided up nicely. The next thing I expect to see is the concepts. I won't use the word construct. Don't use conceptualization and then jump to construct. Use concept. You don't even have to put concept in there. Just put the thing in you want to define. Employee engagement surveys is this. And there's the definition. Perceived value means this. And there's the reft. Trust means, now we all know what trust means, but this student deemed trust an important enough issue. And please, if you use the word issue, drop the word issue from your academic vocabulary, please. I don't ever want to see you guys using the word issue. All right, Chalb says, problem statement 100 words, topic 300. Can we rather expand more on the problem statement? I would. It's up to you, or split it up and give them equal space. Thanks for pointing that out, Jobs. Righty, research paradigm. Again, the title jumps out, hits you in the face like a wet fish. The jump between those font sizes are too big, guys. Can you see that? Paradigm. You have to discuss your paradigm approach method. Paradigm approach method. Paradigm approach method. You have to discuss the ontology, the epistemology, and the axiology of your chosen paradigm. That goes without saying. Please make sure you discuss that when we come to that. Deploy Celia 2014. No, it's old, it's outdated. Yes, I still have it in my slides because some of you don't buy the new textbook. Just know that there is a new textbook available, which is Print 2021. Does that mean the old one, 2014, needs to go to the dustbin? No, not really. It's an updated text. The old one is still all right. Research method. Methodology, perhaps better, not method. Population, sampling, use references wherever you can. Don't bold words to emphasize words, please. And don't capitalize words ever to emphasize them. I don't want to see that. Data collection method, surveys. All right, he talks about that. Data analysis method. Continues. Now again, we expect to see a lot of stuff here. It's a quant one. Let's continue and see what the student gave us at the end of it. References, please make it reference list. These look cluttered. You want to decrease the line spacing on the distinct entries and give me a bit of white space between the entries, which means you have more prominent, distinct reference list entries. Yes, they are called reference list, not references. Alphabetical order and then penalties. Remember 5 and 10%. We look at everything. Brackets, comma, spaces, italics, everything. We look at it and we penalize you. That comma before the date, the dreaded, like the dreaded Fusa in, what's that movie? Madagascar. Who remembers the dreaded Fusa? Tanel is attending, Faith's attending, Taco is attending. The rest of you, if you don't attend, please tell me you are not. America, Taco, yes, attending. And then there's the annexures. There's an instrument. There's a questionnaire. That's what the questionnaire looks like. Please don't ever send us all your findings and your data and your transcripts. That remains with you. We can ask for it, but we don't want to see it. There's a problem here. The student customized the template. That's Elisma's name. Remember, this one is published. It's public knowledge. Here I see the student. All right. Sorry, there wasn't a mistake. This is a template. There was a question earlier today. Just use templates in all your submissions. Just use, Tangi, look at the rubric quickly and answer that question for us. If you ask something here, you get homework. Who had the homework last week? Right, all of you, if you send me a template in your submission that is not customized, in other words, you just left the letters there, we're going to subtract marks because you didn't even take the trouble to customize your template. This is what an ethical clearance letter looks like, and this is the letter that all of you desperately want to get after ethical clearance. This is what it looks like. It's fancy, hey? Zandile is attending. Right, time is running out. I'm going to do two more. There's your title, there's your cover page. So I like the logo on the cover page. Abstract is there. It's not justified. That's a problem. Table of content. No. Table of contents. Problem. I don't see numbers here on the left. I don't see different stylings really. I do see there's caps, but try and make it more easier for us and more readable to for us to see when you number your headings and subheadings. Do you hear what I'm saying? Can you guys at first glance, sorry, don't fall off your chair. Can you at first glance see the structure here is much more appealing than the structure? Much easier to navigate. Yes, absolutely. All right, we're sitting in this one. I think we went down. And we're seeing all the templates that they are using. Guys, you cannot give me any people, individual identity or any organizational identity in any submission. You are not allowed to disclose it. That's a blanket ruling. So give me a template. If I want to see your original, I will ask you for it. Please. Don't give me a consent form that's signed by Roan van der Berg from ABC Consulting, because you're revealing Ruan's identity and the company's identity, and you are not allowed to do that. If you give me a template and you say in your text, template, annexure, whatever, is the personal consent form that will be used prior to interviews and will be signed by each participant, then we know you have it in hand. And we look at your template and we see it's customized. Your name is there, your pod leader's name is there, and you told me how you are going to use that template. That's what I want. I don't want to see identities of people. I don't want to see identities of companies, please. You're going to get in hot water. Abstract is there. It's nicely justified. Table of contents, that's correct. Look at the headings. Look at the subheadings. Look at the nice numbering. I like what I see. I like the TOC I see here. It spans over pages. That's fine. I don't like the word bibliography because we are using reference lists. Here's that funny word I told you about now. Appendices. The plural for appendix. You guys are going to use annexures. List of tables, list of figures, list of symbols. Make sure you use them correctly. When there's a table and a figure, the headings are not always in the same place. For one of them, the heading is on top. For one, the heading is below. Do the research. Introduction. Does this styling align with the TOC? I don't think so. So there's a problem. Background. Rationale. Problem statement. Lots of headings. Research aim. Research aim is very short here. Eh? It's only about 6 lines. That's maybe a bit cryptic. Research question. I like it. One research question again. This is another qual study. So let's look at the literature review. Theoretical framework is there. The student speaks about the emotional intelligence or the EI theory. Why is the theory aligned? What is the theory? What assumptions does the theory allow you to make in your study? There's another one, two-factor theory. I will only allow you to use 2 theories if you can really convince me that it's needed. Review of literature, and here we see the student jumping in. I see one long block here without heading, so I don't like what I see here, and it looks much too cryptic. And then there's conceptualization. Can you see the student listed 4 or 5 concepts that he or she explained using a scholarly source? In fact, there's too much here. There's about 10 or 20. That's way too much. I can hardly believe that all these concepts requires motivation. I mean, we know what motivation means. All of us know what it means. I don't think you have to go totally overboard in defining your concepts. Paradigm, yes. There should be a main section here that says research methodology. Can you see that's missing? And paradigm should be a subheading under that. Research method. So, yeah, there's something funny here because now research method is suddenly the next heading 3, but under 2 we had paradigm. So there's a big balls up here, and again that speaks of sloppiness, guys. Population, target population, accessible population. J. Petzer, who's J. Petzer? Since when are we using initials and not just surnames? Big mistake. Guys, I'm going to end this meeting. I know you have to run. Data collection method. Data analysis method. Before you go, quickly, let's go to the final. The student said, bibliography, all right, that's wrong. We know that. A reference of 2005, that's 20 years old. It was 18 years old when the student used it. That's too old. Call it a reference list, please. If you use et al. In a reference list, if you ever use et al. In a reference list, I will subtract 10%. If I can subtract 50%, I will. Don't use et al. In a reference list. Right, lots of references, guys. Pages and pages and pages and pages. Right, I'm going to adjourn you now. Appendices, there's your clearance letter that you're waiting for. There's a consent form, a template explaining what the study is about. Sorry, I know I'm going quick. And so on and so forth. All these appendixes, annexures sits at the end of your submission. Guys, I'm gonna let you off the hook that you can join on Michelle's meeting. I hope this evening helped you, and we'll be in touch pretty soon. Take care, we speak. You're welcome. Tangi, and remember, you owe me something, hey?